Hey all, welcome back. We are in Unit 2, making our way through this very short unit on the 1990s. Today we are focused on all things Bill Clinton. So I don't have any notes for you today, no guided notes, but if you're watching this, it means you are absent, you need to get this information. So follow along with me and do notes on your own. Put those in your binder. You're going to need them come binder check. But I will start us off with an essential question. And that is, what were Clinton's biggest achievements and problems he faced as president? That's what we're going to be answering by the end of this video. So first off, this is Bill Clinton. He was president for almost all of the 90s for 8 years, from 92 until the 2000 election, and he was a Democrat. And yes, he is the husband of Hillary Clinton, who ran for president a couple years ago in 2016. They are married. A couple of highlights. So one piece of legislation, one law that Bill Clinton helped and encouraged our Congress to pass was called NAFTA. And that stands for the North American Free Trade Agreement. And what that did was allow for free trade, right, trade without any extra costs between the US, Canada, and Mexico. And that was overall a really successful thing that actually improved all of our economies. So we saw our economy grow and theirs as well. Right, continuing the economic train, right? If we were to classify the economy in the 90s under Clinton with one word, it would be good. Right? He passed a bill. Don't worry too much about what it's called. For your reference, it's the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1993. I know that's a super boring title, but just think, right, under Clinton, the economy, it grew under the Clinton presidency. Here's something not so positive. Something that is still controversial to this day is a bill passed during and under the Clinton administration called the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act. And it was a law passed to reduce crime, which is it's pretty hard to argue that crime is a good thing, right? So most people are on Clinton's side of this at the time. A couple of things that this law did was ban assault rifles, right? Really high-powered weapons that have probably little or to no place in the American public. It hired more police officers, so there'd be more enforcement, right, of laws. And one of the more controversial things here is the mandatory 3 strikes law. So what that means is if you are charged with the same crime, right, these are big crimes, 3 times in a row, you have a mandatory life sentence. That judge has nothing to decide or to deliberate about. 3 strikes and you are out. So one of the results of this law is mass incarceration, right? A lot of people behind bars, and it disproportionately affected minority people. So after this law passed, we saw an increase of people in prison, and most of those people, right, are brown and black faces. This graph shows you what I'm talking about. Mass incarceration, right? We're increasing, but it's going steady. In the 80s, it's going up a little bit, but look, when Clinton takes over in the 90s and this bill passes, the rate of people in prison jumps up, right, in the millions. A little shout out to this documentary from Netflix. If you have Netflix, give this a watch. It's called 13th. It is incredible. It talks about mass incarceration, which is still a huge problem in the country today. I highly encourage you to watch it. That brings me to the other negative of the Clinton presidency, where we will spend the most time right now talking about impeachment. So there's a situation, Bill Clinton is president. He has an affair with a 22-year-old intern. Her name is Monica Lewinsky. They have a sexual relationship. They hide it from other people, and he lies about it. Right? He's asked if it's true. He says no, that he is not having an affair with that person. Find out later he's not telling the truth. And we have a situation where our president is impeached. And what I mean by that is our House of Representatives accuses the president of a crime. Right? In this case, that crime was lying to Congress, to the American people. Right? He was asked If he was having this affair, he said he was not. That turned out to be false. Right, so he is impeached not for having the affair, but for lying about it. And this is an example of checks and balances, right? I'm sure y'all have seen a graph like this before. We have three branches of government. And in this situation, we have the president making a mistake, right? The president getting away with something he should not get away with, and Congress is going to put that check on the president, right? Stop that branch, stop the president from getting too powerful, and that is this impeachment process here. So we're looking at this relationship between our president, our Congress. Our Congress is saying, "Hey, now that is not right." And they impeach the president. And that does not mean that you are kicked out of office if you're impeached, but it does mean that our government, our Congress thinks you have committed a crime, and we need to have a trial, right? We need to learn more and determine if the president should continue to be the president or not. And so it doesn't mean removed from office, but that is a possibility. But in Bill Clinton's case, right, we've never actually kicked a president out of office. He gets impeached, yes, but he is cleared by the Senate. There's a little video, if this is still not making sense. Google "How Does Impeachment Work" by Ted Ed. It's really funny. Kermit the Frog plays an appearance. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is this term here on the bottom of your screen, and that is divided government. So with Bill Clinton, with that presidency, we have a divided government. Clinton is in the White House. He is a Democrat, but majority of Congress are Republicans, right? So you don't have, not everyone agrees with you. It might be harder to get stuff done, right? We're seeing that today. Our government is super divided. Currently, we have Trump in the White House. He's a Republican, but Congress is split, right? Democrats have taken control of the House. And so it's not as easy for our current president to just do what he wishes, right? He needs support from Democrats to get stuff done. And we saw that exact same dynamic during the Clinton administration. That brings me to my current issue. If you were in class, we did a little bit of classwork about this. If you weren't there, don't worry. But just know we're having the same conversation today, right now, with our current president. There are some people that think he's done things that actually might warrant him to be penalized, right? To be held accountable to, and perhaps even kicked out of office. Awesome. That's where we're going to end it. Thanks for listening. See y'all next time.